When you get a minor cut or a scrape, what if you could do more than just, well, cover it up and hope for the best? That's exactly what we're diving into today. We're taking a closer look at a modern healing spray called Sanatio to see what it's all about. So here it is. The whole idea behind this is pretty straightforward. Instead of just letting nature take its course, this spray is designed to actively help speed up the healing process for those little, everyday skin injuries. But that really makes you wonder, right? What's the secret sauce here? What actually makes a healing spray like this work? Let's get into the science of it.
Okay, so first things first, let's break down exactly what this spray is and, more importantly, what kinds of situations it's really designed for.
So we're talking about those really common injuries, the minor cuts you get in the kitchen, little burns, scrapes from a fall. This spray is meant for exactly that stuff. And the goal here is twofold. Not just to cover the wound, but to actively help stop an infection from starting, and hopefully help your skin rebuild itself a little bit faster.
So, how does it do all that? Well, its effectiveness really boils down to one key component. So let's unpack the active ingredient here: silver.
Now, you might be expecting a long, complicated list of chemicals, but the formula is actually incredibly simple. It's literally just two ingredients: distilled water and something called colloidal silver. So, what on earth is colloidal silver? Well, put simply, it's just microscopic particles of silver floating in a liquid. And believe it or not, this is not some newfangled idea. People have known for centuries that silver has some really powerful antiseptic and anti-inflammatory properties. The specific concentration in this spray is 25 parts per million, or ppm. Now, according to the product info, this is supposed to be the sweet spot, the ideal level to get those healing and antiseptic benefits. It's a number they really highlight. So, here's the bottom line on how it's supposed to help your skin. The idea is that the colloidal silver gets in there and helps prevent nasty infections from taking hold. It also works to reduce that initial puffiness and swelling, and all of that together is meant to promote a faster recovery. All right, so we know what's in it and we know the theory behind how it works. But what about actually using it? Let's walk through a super simple guide on how to apply it the right way to get the best results. It's really pretty straightforward. First things first, you've got to gently clean the area. Simple enough. Then you apply the spray evenly. But the real key here is consistency. You're going to want to do this 2 or 3 times every day until it's all healed up. And finally, if you think it needs it, you can pop a sterile dressing on top for some extra protection. Okay, let's pause here because this next part is absolutely crucial for any kind of health product you're using. We need to talk about the safety information. This is the stuff you absolutely have to know before you even think about using it. And probably the easiest way to frame this is with a direct question. When should you not reach for this spray? Or maybe more importantly, when should you be reaching for a phone to call a doctor instead? And this is where it gets crystal clear. On one side, you've got what it's for, those minor cuts, scrapes, little burns. But the other side is so important. If you're dealing with anything serious, a deep wound, a bad burn, or something that's bleeding a lot, this is not a substitute for professional medical help. In those cases, you need to see a doctor, period. And then there are just a few other common sense things to keep in mind. You definitely want to keep it away from your eyes. Also, and this is a big one, listen to your body. If you start to notice any redness, burning, or itching, stop using it right away. And of course, if you already know you have an allergy to silver, this one's not for you. Oh, and a practical tip, don't let it freeze. And one last really practical piece of info for you. You can get this over the counter, which just means you don't need to get a prescription from a doctor to have it in your first aid kit at home. All right, I know that was a lot of information in a pretty short amount of time. So let's pull it all together and do a quick recap of the biggest takeaways on Sanatio. So let's boil it all down. What is it? An antiseptic healing spray for minor skin stuff. What's the magic ingredient? It's that colloidal silver, specifically at the 25 parts per million concentration. How to use it? Just apply it to a clean wound a couple of times a day. And the most important thing to remember, for anything serious, deep, or badly burned, this is not the answer. A doctor is. So that leaves us with one final thought. In a world full of really complex medicines, is there a certain power to a simple 2-ingredient formula for handling life's little bumps and scrapes? It makes you wonder, is something like this going to become the new standard for your first aid kit at home?